Yo, 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 what's up, guys? It's the boy Talkitive here. Got my new mic. I'm making my third video, I think. I don't, I just, dude, it's been so long since I've actually done a podcast, so, uh, I have time right now, and I got my mic to work. So, I mean, that's an up, so I guess I'll talk about a few things. Guess, since I like talking about sports, I guess there'll be another sports episode. But the Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone fight was just this past week. Conor McGregor beat him in the first 40 seconds of the first round, in a TKO, and I thought that was like completely awesome. He did really well. He did what he set out to do. I mean, as I said in my last one, you talk all the shit you want, but in the end, it's mainly how you fight. So, in my opinion, like shit, like he did really well. And respect and nothing but positive thoughts for Donald Cerrone and his family for him going into that ring with such a powerful aspect and competitor and a fierce competitor in the UFC community. I think that was really a respectful move, even though he lost in that fashion, in that way, which is, yeah, it's bad. And I get why, people were quick to hate, quick to, hold on, let me turn my light on real quick. Oh, that's much better. No, but yeah, people were like quick to judge. I mean, there was just so many things that he could have done better. Like, I'm not saying like in a mean way or just like I don't know. Like, I think he could like, do better in a different way. I mean, think about it. Like, I, I saw the clip. I didn't watch it on pay-per-view because I already watched a couple other fights on pay-per-view, and I was like, I don't want to spend my money on another one. So I was like, you know what? I'll wake up the next day. I'll go on ESPN or Fox or whatever, and I'll look up who won. And I heard about it the minute after it happened. Literally, I went on Instagram and I follow UFC, and I also follow ESPN, and they captioned it like Conor McGregor's beat Donald Cerrone in the first 40 seconds of the first round, and I'm going, I think this is a shit post. This is a fake post. So, I mean, that was really good. I think it was awesome that he won. I also really enjoy the fact that he had the admirability to go against a fierce competitor and someone who's really been in the UFC scene for years. I mean, like, Conor McGregor's beat Nate Diaz. He's almost beat Floyd Money Mayweather in a boxing match a couple years ago. He lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov, but I feel like he lost that because he wasn't very well trained in his stamina. I think he was slow, and I think that he could have done better with his grappling abilities, because I know Conor McGregor really is a grappler. He's a grappler and a brawler, and a person who gets really good at those both aspects, especially in a fighting style in a UFC match, especially in this day and age where everything is so quick and so versatile and responsive, that if he got really good, he could have beat Khabib any day. So yeah, I mean that I and I saw a couple of my friends were watching it. A couple of people that I know was actually at the fight, and they said the energy, the environment, everything was just uh, elusive. It was alive, and especially to go through a fight where you always have to know. I mean, Conor McGregor, if he lost that fight, his career might have been over in a short-term span. Like, he's, I think he would be what, 34 or something. I forget. He has a lot of wins, but I mean, he has some major losses that I think really impacted his career in a different way. I think he really, I think he just really came back. And then I saw the Khabib Instagram post of "I'm still the king. I still beat McGregor." He had his big wig on, the big white afro wig he wears on his head. He would be wearing on anyways, but he said, "I'm still the king. I still beat this guy, and I'm ready for round 2 with him." And I was like, "I'm totally down with this." I mean, I saw the post. I was like, "Sure, set up the fight. ESPN, Joe Rogan, not Joe Rogan. What's his name? Dana White. Set up the fight. Go to UFC. Do whatever you need to do, and set the fight in summer. Next winter. I mean, it could be anyway, any shape, anyhow. I mean, like, you never know these days. So, in my personal opinion, I think he could have done. McGregor could have done better, even though he won. I think even though Cerrone didn't give him enough effort because he lost in the first 40 seconds of the match. I think that he could have done a whole lot better with his quickness, especially his responsiveness to the punches.
This would be perfect.
What?
That I just interrupted your podcast.
Yeah, well,
I can make a guest appearance. Look. Hi, it's Jack's dad, and I just want to let you know I'm happy to be here, and he's happy to have me here.
Okay.
And
Yep.
Yep. Bye.
Yep. You done? All right, cool. So that was my dad. Sorry for that. I think I knew that would happen, but screw him sometimes. I hate when people do that. But, I mean, laugh at me all you want. I don't give a flying fuck, but I hate when people do that. They interrupt you. Trust me, it's the worst feeling. But anyway, we were still on point. I think McGregor could have done better, especially, as I said, with his responsiveness, even though he, beat Cerrone's ass, even though the odds were 5-1 Cerrone. I mean, he could have just... McGregor really was a lucky person, especially in the sport. UFC can either go one of two ways. The first way, either rookie fighter, a person who hasn't a lot of professional fights, can go up against, a John Jones or a Nate Diaz or Conor McGregor, or hell, in the girl.
Still here.
Okay. Asshole. Anyway, he should have done, and the other way is the rookie can beat up on the experienced guy, and the experienced guy can either beat the shit out of the rookie or any other way. I mean, that's how the UFC works. That's why they fight. It's happened before, and I think McGregor really, I think he was a little bit nervous going into the fight because I think he thought that he could have maybe done better, even though he's lucky with the 40-second, knockdown from Cerrone, the Cowboy. That's his nickname, Cowboy, if you didn't know. So I thought that was a great fight. I mean, he was elusive, he was quick, he was responsive, he was versatile, he was on his feet. A whole lot better than, I think, a whole lot of other 90% of UFC fighters. I think I've seen Cerrone's tapes and replays, and he was really good. Like, he was really good at moving. His body was fluent. A lot of his punches were not robotic like you see other younger, inexperienced UFC fighters do. They're very, I want to say, more robotic, not really fluent and unison in their punches and their skills and their styles. And I think that the more UFC grows, the more time and the more places and the community has grown so much because of McGregor and Diaz and Khabib and John Jones, and back then it used to be Chuck Liddell and Brock Lesnar, and now the Brock Lesnar now. I mean, there are more heavyweights are more for boxing. I mean, you have now. I mean, the Tyson Fury, DeAndre Wilder fight is coming up. On the last podcast, I talked about the last fight with Ruiz. Not Ruiz. What was his name? Was it Ruiz? It was DeAndre Wilder and the other guy he knocked out in like the 5th round. With like a minute left. Tyson Fury is from England. He's English, and DeAndre Wilder is American, and he had his last professional fight against... Was Ruiz? Yeah, it was. And so I think when that'll happen, I think it'll be really... I don't know. It can either go one of two ways, in my opinion. Heavyweight fights are all about the big punch. Featherweight, I guess ultimate featherweight, lightweight, they're more cut, their bodies are more lean, so they can use more energy and a lot more blood flow going through their muscles to punch faster, while the big muscle, more bigger bodied individuals in a boxing match have to produce more energy, meaning their punches are going to be at a low frequency. So in a heavyweight fight, especially with Tyson Fury and DeAndre Wilder, who are like, ultra heavyweight fighters, champions of the world too. I mean, we know the likes of Anthony Joshua. Just it was so, I think boxing now has become such a mainstream sport that it used to be with Mike Tyson in the 80s and 90s, and then he had 60s, 70s with Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. And then now we have DeAndre Wilder, Tyson Fury, Andrew Ruiz. They're pretty mainstream, but they made the sport become more of a popular, well-known community, and they've also made it to be more elusive. And I think it was a whole lot more. I'm not trying to say spread out, but I think more better at doing the right thing, especially with marketing, commercializing it, putting advertisements in a YouTube video about it. The program, the advertisement, the endorsements that these boxers get are insane. The amount of money they get from fights and endorsements, and they go everywhere, do all the parties, do all the fun things. Boxing is a really fun sport, especially. I like to box. I'm getting lessons to it, and I think that would just, I just love watching fighting. I think, in my opinion, I know this is an unpopular opinion, especially in this generation, no offense, but fighting and all that stuff is looked down upon, but in my opinion, when you fight, especially if you fight smaller, if you're a smaller person fighting a bigger person, and the smaller person wins, that smaller person gets way more respect than anything, in my opinion. But that's just how I think. So move on from fighting. Super Bowl 54 on Sunday is coming up at 3:30 p.m. I think it's on CBS, and it's the 49ers, who haven't gone to the Super Bowl since 2013 when they lost 34-31 to the Baltimore Ravens. They're their other Super Bowl now. They acquired Jimmy G 2-3 years ago. Jimmy Garoppolo from the New England Patriots, who was Tom Brady's backup when they won all those Super Bowls as well. So Jimmy G had a lot of chemistry with playoffs and Super Bowl appearances that I think not a whole lot of other teams are expecting. And last year, he got hurt, ACL injury. He tore his ACL, so his knee was all fucked up the whole entire season. So he couldn't do anything. But he came up, and he's one of the comeback players of the year. He's a nominee for it. So he went from leading a team from 4-12 and having Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard coming out of at the other spot quarterback spots. He this year really made good chemistry with his receivers, with his offensive line. They had McGlinchey, Tomlinson, their tight end core, Dwelly, and George Kittle, Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo, Manuel, who else is on that team? Kendrick Bourne, Dante Pettis. Even though they have injured Marquise Goodwin, he was still a good aspect even in their bad run of the season last year. And I think the more often that people will understand how the Niners really kind of grouped together as a team, and the years of when the Niners went from the best team in the league to the worst team in the league, they went to the worst team in the league, in my opinion, because they didn't play together as a team, and they didn't play together in unison. So the more often people, especially at a team, will work in a unison, I think the more often it will be more recognized and perceived in a better way. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who last year became an overnight superstar in the NFL. He became just a small known quarterback who was drafted by the Chiefs in second, third round, maybe first. I think he came from a small school, and he not really known, and now he's superstar in the NFL. Everybody talks about him. You go to schools, you go to public places at like a sports bar, and they have the Chiefs game on, and they're watching their games, and they're like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes, what a great quarterback," and he can run on his feet. He's like a Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, Frank Tarkenton. All the guys who made the NFL more of a running on the run kind of style of a game. He really perceives and contributes that well, along with the likes of Lamar Jackson. So I think the more I want to say the more, I guess, known he became, the more of a superstar he became, and so his skills really paid him off. Um, so you got the Niners and Chiefs at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, on Sunday, 3:30 p.m. I think it's on CBS. Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, Michelle Tafoya are all doing the announcing and reporting from the game. Score predictions. I think I'm a Niners fan. I'm in California. I was raised in the Bay Area, East Bay, so I've been a Niners fan since I was, brought into this world essentially. So I want to say I'm gonna go for the Super Bowl 49 score, 24-28 Niners. Either that or like 31-24 Niners, around there. Like semi big scoring game, semi like good defense, better offense. I think that the Niners will their linebacking crew, Quan Alexander, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. I think they'll all group together and do really well, especially in zone defense, because I know the Chiefs like to play a lot of outside spread offense. So if they kind of combine zone and a little bit of blitz, they'll stop Kareem Hunt. And you got Richard Sherman probably on Tyreek Hill. And you have what's his name, Samuel, the other Samuel, on the defense side. You got Nick Bosa, D Ford, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner. They traded a really good spot for D Ford. They got Nick Bosa, a really good first round pick last year, and he really made the Niners defense a better defense. They went from being the worst defenses in the league to becoming one of the most perennial all-star hard defenses to stop. They were the fewest averaged points scored on their defense in the league. They averaged like 13, 14 points a game, which is the best in the league. I'm pretty sure you can look that up, all you fact checkers. The Niners, Chiefs are coming to play for the big ship, the Lombardi Trophy. So I want to know. I just want to know who wins. I mean, I'd be nice for the Niners to bring home a Lombardi Trophy back to California, and the first time in 20 years since Steve Young and Jerry Rice and Roger Craig and Charles Haley, all those guys, all the OG 49ers, and then you have Joe Montana, Jerry Rice as well. You have Roger Craig, as I said. You have who else? Taylor. You have all the greats. You just have Ronnie Lott, all the old Deion Sanders. All the OG All-Star 49ers. So if they really group together as defense and their offense will work together, well then I think they'll do really well. So, what else do I say? I can talk about. Well, I have, beginning of the new semester for school, so that's doing well. I think the more I do kind of have free times, especially during the day, to record, I definitely will. Sorry for the big stretch and dent of not uploading. So, but no, that was today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay cool, stay humble, get better. Talkative out.